A very hearty welcome to all viewers. As part of the EBSB activities, we, the students of Mathematics Optional of NSS Training College, Changanacherry, proudly present before you the famous forts and palaces to visit in Kerala.
Kerala, or Golden Country, is abundantly blessed with breathtaking scenic beauty. But this beautiful place is actually much more than that. The numerous forts and palaces in Kerala are evidence of the glorious historical past of the state. These relics attract tourists from all over the world and allow the tourists to travel back in time and experience all the grandeur. The forts and palaces of Kerala provide a deep insight into the rich history that nurtured God's own country. From the splendid architecture, the varied colonial influences, and the vast collection of antiques and artifacts, this place in Kerala demands a visit from any traveler who wishes to delve into the region's rich past. Now, let's look into the famous forts in Kerala. The creation of the British government is the Anjatang Fort. This comes under the district of Tirunelveli. This historical fort is one of the attractive factors of Kovalam. The exact location of this fort is about 40 kilometers from Trivandrum, and from Varkala it is around 12 kilometers away. This British architectural monument was constructed by the East India Company. Visiting this fort is actually a perfect spot to observe the British architectural view. When you will walk into this ancient structure, you will get to see the earlier Dutch colony's funerary ground in the surroundings of this fort. Not only the architecture of this fort mesmerizes you, but also the mood of the weather, which gives slow waves in the air, which again and again refreshes you, which actually gives a relaxed feeling. Palakkad Fort. The Palakkad Fort in Kerala is a beautiful historical monument that has gently integrated its high walls with its surrounding green gardens. It is one of the most well-preserved forts in the state of Kerala. The Palakkad Fort was built in 1766 AD by Hyder Ali, and it is now a protected monument under the Archaeological Survey of India. The picturesque fort is located in the heart of Palakkad town at the foothills of Sahyadri range in a labyrinth of dense forest and crisscrossing cascading rivers. The mighty fort is spread over an area of 60,702 square meters, and it is immensely famous for its architecture. The magnificent fortress of Palakkad is an essential part of the history, and its construction is majestic as well. The fort is in the shape of a square and is supported by walls and bastions which are shape of a square as well. Thalassery Fort. Thalassery Fort of Kerala state was built in the year of 1708. It was situated 22 kilometers away from the district of Kannur. This fort also belongs to the colony of British. This was the British Empire's center of military. The background behind the construction of this fort was when during 1708 century, East India Company of the British government had started to settle the trade business at the coast of Malabar. At that time, they made this beautiful Thalassery fort. The shape of this fort is square. This fort is very strong and huge. The walls are very large. The doors of this fort is very nicely curved. And there are also some underground tunnels which are indirectly connected to the sea. The construction of this monument is very impressive. Bekal Fort. Built in the 17th century, this magnificent fort in Kasaragod is one of the most well-preserved forts in Kerala, designed in the shape of a giant keyhole. The fort has tall observation towers that offer stunning views of the Arabian Sea. It was only a few centuries ago that giant cannons were placed all around it in order to defend it from threat. Right next to the fort is an old mosque that is said to have been built by the great King Tipu Sultan. Originally constructed by the rulers of Kadamba dynasty. The fort changed many hands from the Kosri Rajas, the Vijayanagar kings, Tipu Sultan, till it was finally occupied by the British East India Company. Now its scenic location has become a favorite shooting location of filmmakers and selfie takers alike. Now let's look into the famous palaces in Kerala. Kanagakundu Palace. Surrounded by the towering palm trees and standing on a lush green carpet of grass, Kanagakundu Palace is a marvelous attraction in Kerala. This palace is located near the famous landmark of the town Napier Museum. This enchanting palace was constructed by Sri Moolam Tirunal, but was later taken over by the royal family of Travancore. They used Kanagakundu Palace as the place for entertaining the guests. Till date, this palace is utilized for hosting functions and gatherings. The palace is known for its tantalizing surroundings and lavish interiors. An all India dance festival is organized in the palace between October to March. The palace never fails to catch the attention of the people due to its architecture. Hill Palace. Hill Palace in Kochi is the largest heritage museum of Kerala, which is one of the most famous historical monuments in Kerala. The palace was built by the Cochin royal family as a safe haven to protect its women and children from the enemy troops. Hill Palace has 17 galleries flaunting the historical treasures of Kerala. A golden crown of 1.75 kg presented to the King of Cochin by the King Emmanuel of Portugal and the Bible written on God's skin are examples. Mattancherry Palace. Mattancherry Palace is also known as the Dutch Palace. It is located in Kochi and was built by the Portuguese as a gift to the Raja of Cochin around the year 1555. The palace is a rich depiction of the murals and the traditional culture of the royals of Kerala, featuring a number of exhibits, portraits, and temple arts exhibiting the lifestyle of the kings of Cochin. Krishnapuram Palace. It is located near Alappuzha. The Krishnapuram Palace is both a royal palace as well as a museum that was built in the 18th century. Featuring the traditional architectural styles of Kerala, the structure is complete with dormer windows, gabled roofs, and narrow corridors. The Archaeological Department of Kerala is responsible for the maintenance of Krishnapuram Palace. And the museum features exhibits of the royal palace featuring the belongings of the occupants, elaborate artwork, traditional weapons, and statues of deities. The palace also features the underground escape routes and has a huge pond in front of it.
So now, let's come to the end of this video. The state is famous for its palaces, forts, stone caves, tombs, shrines, and many other unique architectural features of Kerala. The number of forts and palaces found in Kerala demonstrates the state's rich historical legacy.